The St. Gabriel's complex, including a monastery, church, and related buildings and landscape, had been a thriving community when it was constructed in the early 20th century for the Roman Catholic Passionist order. The church in particular had remained a vital part of the community long after the monastery function became obsolete and the building abandoned. Yet ultimately, the church was decommissioned as well. As of 2016, the buildings were fenced in, vegetation was overgrown, and vandalism rampant. Still in use, though, was the 1965 Shrine of Fatima and the related garden and cemetery, which remained a favorite respite in the city for dog walkers and people looking for green space. Development has been a major force in Brighton, and much of the community is changing in character as new buildings are constructed. The St. Gabriel's site, on a hill adjacent to a major hospital, near Brighton Centre and major universities, was unsurprisingly a location ripe for much-needed housing. Cabot, and Forbes' project could have included complete demolition of these existing buildings, but the project team had a vision for making the monastery, and ultimately the church, the focal point of a new complex. The preservation of the monastery, a Boston landmark, included restoring stucco, clay tile roofing, and ornamental copper. The interior was transformed into apartments of various sizes, including duplex units that extended up into the previously uninhabited towers and provide sweeping 270-degree views of the city. The original chapel space was retained, with art glass windows, wood paneling, and coffered plaster and pressed metal ceilings, all restored and incorporated into an amazing, cheerful space that can be used for a range of functions. It took creativity to find a suitable housing-related use for the church space in a way that celebrated the original volume. The adaptive reuse of the church, in the end, included lounges, recreation and study spaces for residents, accommodated leasing offices for the overall complex, and included seating and cafe spaces that are welcoming to the larger community. The neutral tones of the restored plaster, terrazzo, and wood are offset by bright furnishings and artwork that pick up the vibrant colors of the original, restored stained glass windows. Chandeliers were reworked and lowered for use at conference tables. The preservation of the Olmsted landscape, the fact that the community is invited into the church, the retention of the shrine on the site, all help to preserve the spirit of St. Gabriel's as a place where all are welcome and where a diverse group of people come together. Preservation here was not seen as making a museum of the past, but rather retaining the character, craftsmanship, and spaces, and adding a new layer that makes a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts, blending old and new in a way that the pieces speak to each other, to people who use the buildings and enjoy the open spaces, and to the surrounding larger neighborhood that can take this as an example of why preservation is relevant today. Preservation Massachusetts is proud to recognize the St. Gabriel's Complex with a 2021 Mayor Thomas M. Menino Legacy Award.